Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to get the final few bits of prep done and then lay down the high build. So yes, hello everyone, thank you very much for joining me once again. We are with the MR2 again, and today I'm really hoping that we're going to get the high build primer laid. Now, I was here all day yesterday doing all the final bits of prep. There was a few little areas which I found which still needed a little bit of work, but I think we're pretty much there now. There's just a few little bits I need to sand down before putting the high build on, but we're super close now, and I'm really looking forward to getting the high build primer on. Now, I'll be honest, I did have two fails whilst I was getting to this stage. One, I tried to take the windscreen seal out and it just wouldn't come out. It just literally would not come out. So in the end, it just come up in little chunks, and I've actually taken a couple of chunks out of the windscreen. So it's going to need a new windscreen. By the looks of things, it's still the original Toyota windscreen. It's still got Toyota stamped on it, so I don't know whether it had a replacement genuine one or whether that still is in fact its original windscreen. So I'm a little bit sad that I may have just broken the original windscreen, but I did find a JDM one which had a slight bronze colour, which I think would look really nice, especially with the new paint which I will be putting down, and that will become a bit clearer once we actually start putting the colour on the car. But other than that, I've now completely covered the car in etch primer. I've done the bumpers in plastic primer, and I've made sure it's all prepped nice and smooth. Then what I thought I'd do is use the rear bumper as a test for the high build primer. I need to make sure that I got the gun settings right, and I wanted to make sure it was spraying okay, make sure that I've mixed it correctly. And unfortunately, again, this was my second fail. When I had painted it, it looked absolutely fantastic, but when I came to sand it down, I don't actually know if you'll be, yeah, you might be able to see it here, it wasn't quite dry. So basically what happened was the first layer I put down came out a little bit too thick. So again, I adjusted the gun settings and I got it pretty good for the last two coats. So I put 3 coats in total, which is what I'm going to do on the car itself as well. But when I came to sand it down, I'm guessing that the first coat still wasn't quite dry underneath the 2 that I put on top. So obviously I did leave it the 20 minutes per coat that it says on the tech sheet, but I don't think it's enough in these cold conditions. I have got 2 heaters over there which I'm going to crank on in a minute as well, because that way hopefully it will dry a little bit quicker, and just, yeah, I shouldn't have this issue again. So like I said, I'll take you around the car now and I'll show you exactly what's left to do, and then we can start putting the high build primer on once I've done those bits. Okay, so as I said, the whole car is in etch, and I've now completely covered all the areas that I don't want, obviously covered in spray paint. Obviously, I've managed to get in down the side of the windscreen, but like I say, unfortunately, that trim has been destroyed, which obviously I'm just going to get a new one. But like I say, the whole car is now in etch, and I've sanded it down with some P180, so it is all ready for the high build primer. Now, like I said, there was a couple of areas that I found. This, I didn't really like the edge of this. It didn't look particularly nice, so I've just put some of the Dolphin Glaze smooth filler on, which I'm going to then sand down and make sure that that is nice and flat. Like I say, everything is completely covered. I've covered all the engine bay because I would quite like to get in around the edges of the engine bay, but obviously not completely cover the engine. The whole car, like I say, it's been sanded down in P180. But here's the main bit I've got left to sand down. There was a couple of dents which I didn't actually notice until I got the car up this high. So again, I have put some normal body filler on, then I've sanded it down, and now I've gone over with the Dolphin Glaze again. So that's going to give me a nice, properly smoothed out finish. But other than that, the rest of the car is ready to go. So it's just this area mainly, and then the other sill. Then we can actually start to put down the high build primer. So obviously I still have got these other bits and pieces, like the engine bay cover, which I'm currently being used as a table, a fill-in mixer station and bits and pieces like that. But then obviously the rear window surround as well. What I'm going to do though is I really want to just concentrate on getting the body of the car done first. Then I can concentrate on all those little bits, because I've also got these little side trims and stuff that need to be painted as well. Headlight covers, door handles. But again, I want to just make sure I get this body completed, because then I can actually wheel the car out and then concentrate on spraying all the other bits in this area here. So like I say, we just got these little bits of prep to do, and then we can hopefully start laying down the high build.
walking away. Your words are lost on me. It's taking everything not to turn around. Throw it away. See if you'll let go of me.
Okay, so I've now gone round the whole car and I've corrected all the issues that I had from the first coat. So there was you can just about still see it here. I don't really know what that was. I think the airspeed was slightly too high and I pushed the paint into the car too much and it just caused the paint to separate. There was a few little runs and bits and pieces around, and on this front edge I'd laid it too thick and ran all the way around the edge, but I've now completely sanded it down. I just put a light dust in back over. There it goes, now zoomed in. You can just about see here, that is now pretty much smooth. So I'm now going to go over it again with the primer because I'm now going to do the second coat. But the biggest issues I had was there were some runs down here which I have completely flattened down and resanded, so it's now nice and smooth. And then I went over it again with a light dusting of the primer. Same up here as well. I had a massive run section here. You might just be able to see it. It was about here, but I've sanded it down and then I gave it another quick coat. So the car is now ready for its second coat. So let's get cracking.
I'm up all day, all night, replaying our last fight. Now in hindsight, I don't care, I'm not gonna lose it. I'm not gonna lose this. Yeah, kinda hate myself sometimes. Everything was on the line. Didn't wanna be the one who had to say it.
Okay, so that's now the second coat of high build primer, and that one went absolutely faultlessly. I think the combination of the two heaters that I've got in the back there, plus the settings on the gun have now been dialed into that real nice sweet spot, and that really did help because it looks absolutely fantastic. The finish is already now starting to get nice and smooth. I'm going to let this flash off now for about 15-20 minutes, maybe even half an hour, and then I can give it its third and final coat. And then that means next weekend it's just going to be flattening this off, getting it ready for the colour coat. It's going to be a long process, but it's going to be worth it. Okay, so that second coat is now flashed off pretty well, so let's give it the third and final coat. Okay, so here we go, the third and final coat that has now been laid, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. It's now all starting to look really even as it's drying off, or flashing off. Roof, absolutely fantastic. A little bit wet on the back here. I did lay this one a little bit thicker, and unfortunately I did make a boo-boo here. So this is the mistake on this third and final coat. I'm not too worried because obviously I'm now going to have to flat this whole car back anyway. So I'm now going to leave this for the week or for the 5 days and then head back up here, and that'll be nice and cured so that I can then crack on with flattening this all down. But as you can see, all really nice and smooth. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so there we go. 3 coats of high build primer finally been applied to this MR2, and it looks absolutely fantastic as it's now starting to dry off. Obviously next weekend is going to be a lot of work flattening this thing down, but I cannot wait. I can't wait to get this thing super smooth, ready for its colour coat. Like I said, I've got a little bit of a trick up my sleeve with the colour, so you'll have to wait until we start applying that till you find out what that trick is. But I'm hoping that's going to turn out alright, and I really hope that we can get this now smoothed out and looking absolutely superb. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.